The twin-track plan to bring down Gaddafi and Britain's central role in it. ITV News has learned the UK is coordinating attempts to encourage more of the regime to defect and is actively assessing how best to arm and equip Gaddafi's opponents.
This is the ITV News at 6:30 with Nina Hussain and James Mates.
2 weeks since the no-fly zone was imposed, the strategy to topple Colonel Gaddafi is evolving, but is it still in line with the original UN resolution? Also tonight, stabbed at school, a 14-year-old saved by the bravery of parents and fellow students.
Up to 20 UN workers are killed in Afghanistan in retaliation for the burning of a Quran by an American preacher.
And William's wedding nerves. The prince comes clean about the big day as grandma visits him at work.
Good evening. Britain is at the centre of a developing strategy tonight to bring an early end to Colonel Gaddafi's regime. ITV News has learnt that the UK is spearheading efforts to increase the number of defectors from Libya.
Britain is also involved in exploring ways the opposition can be assisted militarily. One plan under consideration is arming fighters in eastern Libya with anti-tank weapons. Our senior political correspondent Chris Shipp reports.
Chris, this certainly appears to be a new direction to the campaign, but does it abide by the spirit and the letter of the UN resolution?
Well, I think any extension to the military campaign opens up the possibility of needing a new mandate from the United Nations. If you look at arming the rebels or the possibility of training them.
2 weeks after coalition airstrikes on Libya began, the first reliable reports of civilian casualties have surfaced. 7 people, including children, are reported dead after an airstrike near Ajdabia. From eastern Libya, Geraint Vincent reports.
Here, a 14-year-old girl is recovering in hospital tonight after being stabbed outside her school. Police say Chloe West was saved by the heroic actions of parents, teachers and fellow students who came to her aid. An 18-year-old suspect is in custody. Stephen Douglas reports from Stourbridge.
Bill Neely, ITV News in the United States.
We're taking a break, but still to come. A flashback for the speed camera, why Oxfordshire is turning them on again.
Plus, taking time out from the day job, William on how the wedding plans are going. That's coming up when we come back. Hello again. Hundreds of speed cameras are being switched off today as local council budget cuts take effect.
The inquest into the death of Sian O'Callaghan opened today and heard evidence about her likely cause of death. Our correspondent Rupert Evelyn is in Swindon where Sian went missing. Rupert, what more can you tell us? Finally, it is exactly 4 weeks until the royal wedding and Prince William has confessed he's got nuptial nerves.
Today, the search and rescue pilot Prince had something to take his mind off the big day. His grandmother came to visit. Our royal correspondent Tim Ewart was there.
Tim Ewart, ITV News, Anglesey.
And you can watch the full version of William's interview on our royal wedding website. Please go to itv.com/royal wedding. There's also photo galleries, quizzes and all the latest wedding news.
Coming up on tonight's ITV News at 10, Sir Alex's verdict on stamping out disrespect to referees.
They give me a 5-match ban, that's fine. But that doesn't even say we don't respect referees.
Please join us both for that later, but for now, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bright outside, happy inside. The ITV National Weather, sponsored by the Cooperative. Good with food.
Hello there, a very good evening to you. We end the working week with fairly mixed fortunes, always more in the way of the cloud and rain across the west and northwestern parts, and more in the way of the dry and settled conditions, although perhaps not quite as bright as we originally hoped for, across the east and southeast. Now, over the weekend, we are going to be seeing things turning a little bit cooler, so nothing like the 19 Celsius that we saw across some parts of eastern Scotland through today. Woohoo! But for everyone, looking rather breezy, I think, and it has been that way for the last few days. Now, as we look ahead to tonight, we're going to stick with that splitting conditions. Out across the western parts, this frontal system is really going to be trying to make tracks eastwards, but probably not getting much further than this. So a real splitting conditions, as I mentioned, always the driest and most settled stuff out towards the east and southeast. Temperatures here staying up at around 12 Celsius, which is 54 in Fahrenheit, much cooler under the cloud and rain and breezy throughout. Now, as we look ahead to tomorrow morning, we are going to be seeing a real change as well. Up towards the far northern parts of Scotland, where we've got the heaviest of the rain, because as you can see, that rain band is still there. We could actually see some of it falling as sleet and snow across the higher ground of Scotland in comparison to the lovely warm spring-like conditions that we're going to be seeing down across the east and southeast. So it's almost like two seasons in one morning. Into the afternoon, though, even across the western parts, it really improves. The rain really becoming much more fragmented and showery, although we keep a few sharp old showers across Northern Ireland, and the warmest conditions again down towards the south and east. Don't forget it's Mothering Sunday, this coming Sunday. Don't forget to buy a card, but as you can see from a weather point of view, it is going to be a very similar story, with the showers tending to be out towards the west. Have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.
The ITV National Weather, sponsored by the Cooperative. Good with food.